cause and effect, we link it all up, we have gone not towards the self, but towards the senses, towards the world. So it's not just about stories and questions of others, but also letting go of your own stories and questions and why not. So self-reflect, that's step 2. But then let go, that's step 3. And if you do it 1 out of 10 times, awareness becomes the cement in your vritti. Satyam param dhimahi Satyam param dhimahi Satyam param dhimahi Satyam param dhimahi Satyam param dhimahi. Jai Gurudev. Okay, so we are discussing Bhagavad Gita, wrapping up chapter 1 and chapter 2. Right? You have all the knowledge down pat? Where do we begin? What is it that's getting Arjuna and all of us in trouble? What is it?
Desire.
Desire. Desire is related to what, though? Really, you have to think, what is the problem that Arjuna is having? He's come to the middle of the battlefield. He was prepared for it. He knew he's going to war. He's known for a long time, right, that he's going to war. And suddenly, after asking Krishna Bhagavan to say, show me, let me see who I'm going to fight, he suddenly decides, this is not what I want to do. So what is the problem he's facing? See, you should not give answer that is expected of you. You must give an answer that you've thought through. Is Arjun against killing people? Yes or no?
No.
Again, does Arjun have a problem killing?
No.
Is he saying, I don't want the kingdom?
No.
Is he saying kingdom has no value?
No.
So what's he saying? I don't want to kill my people for the kingdom. I don't want to take revenge for my wife because I have to kill my uncle and my guru and my so on. Correct? He's not against, if he has to kill other people, I'm so ready, give me the kingdom. Correct? Does this sound familiar? Are you in a battlefield against us versus them? Yes or no? Are we not in that same battlefield? Right? We're ready to do things as long as it's for to others and against others, not against ourselves or those or things that we consider mine. Isn't it? The whole problem of the Bhagavad Gita, yes, it's true, it's attachment, but if you really understand and you really break it down, attachment means me and mine. That is what he's struggling with. He doesn't, look, we do the same thing. I keep giving the same example. If my sister has the tendency, let's say she's cheap, and this is my friend, she's cheap, and this is a stranger, she's cheap, and she's my colleague, she's cheap. Am I bothered about abundance versus cheapskate? Yes or no? No, because with my sister, I'm fine with it. I'll make all kinds of stories, all kinds of excuses why she's like that. But with my colleague, do I do the same thing? I don't. Do I do the same thing with the stranger? Actually, you're not bothered about the stranger. See how quickly the mind runs into an answer? Whoever we consider me or mine, there we want to have some say over. There we want to interject with this should be like this and should not be like that. What strangers do and how they do it, that is really not our issue. Yeah, for a few minutes we talk about, oh, look what's going on in Palestine and oh, look what's going on over there. But if you don't really feel a sense of connection, it's a time pass conversation. Correct? So simplifying, that is where we start chapter 1. Dhritarashtra, he, the blind king, is asking Sanjaya, what do you see? What are my sons and the Pandu sons doing? That is where it begins. Now, blind represents ignorance. And so you have one side where there's ignorance, and on the other side, you have the potential for the light, for awareness. Krishna Bhagavan is where? Where? He's in the middle. He's in the middle, right? You have the potential for the light to come through on one side, and the other side is ignorance, lack of awareness. From ignorance, only ignorance can come. You cannot get light out of the darkness. The light removes the darkness, but you don't get light out of darkness. Correct? So that's where we are. All right. Then next, what? Did anybody come up with a verse that they have a question on? You want me to do the work, no? Did you even think about it between last week, Tuesday, and today, those of you who've been listening? Yes or no?
Yes.
So convincing. Anybody think about anything? Did you even open someplace the Bhagavad Gita? So Florence raised her hand. At least I have one student. Mala, for sure Mala did. I actually connected with Mala and I said, pick out a few verses that we should discuss. Rekha also. So first, before I go to the verses, Mala did do the homework. She has picked out a few verses. Let's start with you. Any questions? Any thoughts? Any comments? Have you been practicing pulling back the horses?
Yes.
Yes? Do you notice if it's hard or easy? It's hard, but Lord Krishna says that even the greatest seers have these horses run wild, these senses and the mind run wild. But it's a fascinating thing to try to pull them in, correct? I mean, I'm in Houston, so I continuously see things I haven't seen. And I keep throwing out comments. Oh, that den is huge. Oh my God, look at this thing. This is so big. Your trees are so green. Constantly, the mind notices, but just behind it is this awareness. The sense of sight is going out, going out. And if you're aware, where is it? Back in. It's so easy. And I meet so many different people. So there's so many different conversations that go on. And the mind starts to engage in it. It's so easy. One of the things I came to realize is we have to make some rules about what I will talk about and what I will not talk about. Yes?
Yes.
We have to make rules. This is one of the things that I walked away between last Tuesday and this Tuesday that I would bring it up, that we have to come up with rules. Because why? The last, I think it was from verse whatever, 50 something to 70, Lord Krishna has been describing what and how does one of Sthita Pragya, established in wisdom, how does he speak? How does he move? How does he talk? It's not literally talk, sit, and move, but interact in the world. What happens when there's craving and aversion? What happens in the world? Yes? And I told you he's not just describing it. What is he doing? It's instructions for us, what we need to do to continue to move on the path. So there's a lot of tools and techniques, but something I think we have to come up with is time bound. Doesn't have to be forever, but we will not talk about X, Y, and Z. So number one, I will not talk about my past. What do you think?
Yes.
I will not tell, if someone says, where are you from? Where do you live? How did you join Art of Living? When did you meet Guruji? These are great stories, no? Aren't they?
Yes.
Are you going to answer?
Depends on the time and place.
It doesn't matter how glorious it is. The rule is it's town bound, and we're going to come up with the time in a minute. I will not discuss my past. You have to think it through because you're going to have to vote and make a decision. Yes, I agree to this. So give me an example. If I say to you, oh, I was in Houston and now I'm here in Austin, am I talking about my past?
Yeah.
If tomorrow I go somewhere to some other house and they say, where are you coming from? What am I going to have to do?
That's not what you're.
I have to just keep quiet. I'm going to have to say, ask Pramod. Can Pramod say we came from Houston?
I think that's practical. You have to.
So Pramod is
That's
saying
not the
it's
past.
practical. It is past.
Right, but my understanding is that
He's saying
that's
it's not the past.
we're talking about.
No, but we're talking about any past.
That's-
Why do we get into stories? Why do we get into unnecessary? Why is that question even important?
That,
Think about this.
that the 90% conversation can go.
That's right. That way, 90% of the conversations go. But that's exactly the point. If you want to pull your senses in. Have you seen Guruji in a car with people?
Mhm.
There'll be 3 or 4. Everybody's dying to sit in Guruji's car. Yes? And then he gets in and he sits. And sometimes he clicks down the rear view mirror, looks, and then clicks it back up and sits there. And then, Guruji, I wanted to tell you something. I'm getting married tomorrow, but I'm not really sure if I should. Should I move to Austin? It's tomorrow. You missed it. But I don't know if I should. And then, why, does he say, oh, why not? What is it? He just lets you keep going. And then Guruji, I was thinking, and then you get out and say, I talked to Guruji, what did he say? He was quiet. And then you interpret the quiet. Maybe that means a yes. Maybe that means don't do it. Correct? We do this, do we not? No conversation about the past. Let's make exceptions if we are going to. Right now, you have to tell me, what about this? What about that? Clarify your questions. Otherwise, you cannot answer anything about the past.
Go to the doctor and ask you.
Well, what if you go to the doctor and he asks you what's going on? What would your answer be? Doc, that's what I'm here to find out. If he says, what are you experiencing? Then you could say, my stomach is hurting, my head is hurting. Is that the past? No, it's happening right now. My stomach is hurting, my head is hurting. I bet you the doctor is not going to say, what highway did you take to get here? Was there traffic? When are you going home? Are you going to go visit your parents? Didi, are you going to Navratri? Don't ask me any boring questions, okay? I'm already excusing myself by doing this.
What daily stand-ups?
What?
Daily stand-up in you have to tell the team.
What did you do
Yesterday, what are you planning to do?
The brief.
Daily
Brief.
meetings?
Yeah. So, okay. So you are allowed to give daily stand-ups?
Yes.
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do yesterday?
Yes.
I would love for you to find an answer and say, you know what, let's not get into yesterday. I want to tell you. Listen, listen. It's as funny as it is. The whole point is to really recognize how much time is in small, unnecessary nonsense talk. Number one. How much of that has no relevance? Not our question, not our answer, has zero relevance to anything in the moment. Also, it's a sign of not being at ease within oneself. Yes or no?
Yes.
It's a sign of not being present to what's going on right now. And it'll be a sign of you being so present that you skillfully do what you have to and still keep moving. I'm telling you, I have seen Gurudev, not just with us, but President of Iceland, Prime Minister of wherever. And when they ask certain questions about what was going on, how are you, he always comes back to the present moment. No, it's all good for me. It's all good. I'm here. No, right now I'm here. How was India? I find everywhere wonderful. That's an answer. Correct? You have to be present to be able to answer without ignoring and without feeling for that person to feel like, oh, this person is being rude. Nobody ever thinks Gurudev is rude. He gives his answer and he's in his own space. This is what I'm asking for all of us to challenge ourselves with. Are we thinking this a good idea?
Yes.
No stories. Oh, how did you meet Guruji? I mean, I have to do a talk on Saturday. But since I'm setting the rules, I can break them. Honestly, let's get really clear. Ask me, what about, what if you have any hypotheticals, let's get them clear right now. Yes.
So at work, right?
At work,
And there's something that has happened 3 months back. And there'll always be references to, okay, what did we do 3 months back? What happened 3 months back? That's part.
So the question is, I have a proposal and it's a project or something that's 3 months old, and there will always be references to what happened, what was going on in the past. It'll always be the past. So if they say, what happened in the past, you say, you tell me. What specifically do you want to look at? They're going to ask you?
I have done the work 3 months back.
So they're going to ask you what happened 3 months ago, right? And then you have teammates. I'm not saying don't do the work. I'm saying get out of your fixed habit pattern. Find a different way to respond. You will have to respond, but you're going to become much more conscious. That's the point that I'm making here. You might still answer, but look how this is already coming up. And when that question comes up, you're going to be pausing for a moment, or if you give an answer, you will see it will be very short. It will not have unnecessary things. No, when we were driving, you were saying that people got on the call, your work call today, and it was supposed to be a 5-minute call about catching up on something, and it went 1 hour long because they were discussing what happened. And I asked you specific questions. Could you say, let's move on? I was asking because my mind was all on this things, like how we unnecessarily have to continuously respond to things, and we feel forced into it or obligated to, or somehow we judge ourselves if we don't get into it. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I want us to get conscious. We are putting so much time, so much energy, so much effort. Why am I saying the past? Because what comes with the past? Either craving or aversion. That is the entire chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. The man, the being established in Sthita Pragya, we know Lord Krishna has said It is not that they don't have preferences, but they are not stuck in any kind of craving or aversion. It is not that pleasant or unpleasant things don't happen to them, but it is not lived in the mind. It comes like a line in water. It comes. They also go through ups and downs, not the way we go through ups and downs. Correct? It does rain on Guruji as much as it rains on us, and it's heat as much as Guruji for us. Isn't it? But we have a huge drama about it. 30-minute conversation about how cold or how hot it is. You will not be able to do any of this. Just see what happens. Just see what happens. I mean, I think it's the only way to really control the senses, which then makes the mind run. So rule number 1, no conversation about the past. Any hypotheticals? Yes.
How to avoid the pinch of rudeness? Not actionable.
How to avoid the pinch of rudeness? Well, unfortunately, lucky for me, maybe, I won't be there when you're talking to people. I cannot tell you that. This is the skill you will have to come up with as you're standing there. They ask you a question. Have you noticed? We have a hard time taking a pause.
Mm.
Have you noticed that? Have you noticed, Gurudev? There is no urgency or push or a sense of I need to answer. Yes or no?
Yes.
We need to learn to take a pause. Why do we take a pause? In the pause, all the senses for a moment go down. The mind for a moment settles down. It brings awareness. We look a little bit outside of ourselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are we all here? So you will have to pause. You say, just a moment, please. Maybe you're going to end up saying, I'm doing this exercise. Can you answer? Can you say that? I'm doing this exercise. You're doing it now. If you start with, my teacher told me, or you have to find your way through the best you can, but you cannot just indulge. If you ask a question, 90% of our questions are about what? Oh, this thing happened, and then I don't know what to do, and then she did, and then he did, and then they all did, and yes or no? You can't talk about that. So imagine you're going to call somebody, Yamuna, hi. And then can you say, how was your day? No? How are you now? And then she'll say, oh my God, in the morning, I was in traffic. Do you really want to hear this answer? No. Do they really want to tell you this? No. It's a habit. Samskara. We're not conscious of it. To break it, you have to start to observe yourself through all this. You will have to be skillful. It's one of the things Lord Krishna spoke about, right? Skill in action is required to move towards that Sthita Pragya state. And I've been wanting, okay, how do I make it? Because otherwise you're going to be gone for 1 month. And then in August, you'll just sit there staring. And then I have to recap, and then we'll start back again. No, Gurudev has given us so much knowledge, and it goes in 1 year. For a moment, it touches us somewhere. Wow, that was amazing. That was so beautiful. And then it rises up and out the other ear. Yes? And then we sometimes go into the room and say, Srini, what did Guruji talk about? Srini's going to look to Shraddha. I mean, it was just amazing. I can't articulate. We are not going to go there. We are going to be alert. It's a little needle that pricks us to stay awake and alert. That is what I would like to have happen. Are you with me? Because I'm saying no discussion about the past. Yes.
the question that comes up is, words are one thing, but then we have a story behind every face. The history counts, the judgment kicks in, there's so much that comes with that.
So what? Start the first step first. Look what the mind does. Okay, the question is, words are one thing, but then we have so much history with it. We see faces and judgments and all of that comes with it. So it was not even a question, by the way. No, it's not a question. Now I have to answer. And I even jumped into answer like an idiot. No, listen, it's not, you have to start one step at a time. We cannot get established in being immediately, right? Arjuna has 700 verses that he goes on and on and on about. This is still chapter 2. Yes? And we're probably at chapter 1, verse 1. We're probably Dhritarashtra going, what's happening? Yes or no? So you start where you can, you begin with words. You remember in Ashtavakra, Gurudev asks us to practice the 5 principles, like for 5 days or some such thing. This is like this. It's just one rule. I have more. Okay? No discussion of the past. You had a question.
About this rule. So sometimes after the session, we'll actually recap and discuss what we learned.
There's a smart individual here. He says sometimes after a course or a discussion, we have reflection and we discuss. Really? You're going to talk about what did you have for dinner? Did you try this, Ando? Deepika made it. That is what you're going to talk about. You're not going to have discussion. How many of you have noticed Gurudev's satsang is over? How many of people they have not even reached the door? And it's, oh, where did you buy that? Jesus Christ. Yes or no? And then if you happen to be somebody like me who turns around and says, really? That's what you're going to ask me? Oh, she's really a nasty piece of work. Yeah, because you asked me a nasty question. Can you understand? You walk out of Gurudev's satsang and what is in your mind? Yes. The dupatta or some nonsense thing. And then you think that it's okay to ask that question. And that person may don't want to answer, but you're like, where, Didi? And then you're supposed to what? Oh, you're so sweet with that question. That? No. You knock it off. What are you doing? So now I want you to hold yourself to that standard. Knock it off. What am I doing here? Why do I have a guru to chit-chat constantly about nothing in my life and fill my time with stories that have no meaning for anybody and where I went and what I bought and all? Is that it? I'm telling you, there will be so much freedom if we just stop telling the stories. It's over. Let me see if there's any questions here. Didi, is it your birthday today? Many happy returns. Me and mine, attachment. Didi, there was one shloka that was pending. Yes. Successes. What if in a meeting it's asked what was discussed yesterday? Pramod asked the same question. So you're already talking about the past. You have to be skillful. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not even saying that it's possible. You might have to give an answer. But if you have to give an answer, it'll be just what is necessary. And when you are consciously providing an answer, you bring other power into your answer. This is the thing I want you to understand. This idea Gurudev speaks about, Mahavakya, the power to bless. When does the power to bless come? When there's awareness about it. Conscious awareness of the questions being asked and where is it going and what is happening. I'm not saying you, I'm saying for me, you, all of us. We have to be conscious. And when you give an answer where you are aware, if you ask a question where you are aware, some other power flows through those words. Yes? So you do the best you can. I'm coming from nowhere. Nowhere, man. Don't worry. Take your time. Don't hurry. You have to find an answer. All right. Any other what ifs? Yes. Go ahead.
So like, but even Krishna thought about like, oh, in this Janma I was that way, in this Janma I was that.
Yeah, but when you're Krishna, you also can do that. He said, but Krishna Bhagwan is talking about I was Dattatreya and this Janma I was this and I was that. Okay, when you have memory of your prior birth, then you can also talk about your past. Till then, you do your best not to. Yes? Someone else had a question. Yes. She said, we don't talk about the past. We don't think about the future. It's not me. She brought it to my attention. Okay. She said, I wish I could show you the face, because that's not what she said, but this is what. So we don't talk about the past. We don't think about the future. Everybody else is laughing, me too, but I'm mimicking. So all the time in the day, what do we do? But she's really, she's panic stricken. That's right. What are you going to do with all that time? That is correct. You're going to, I'm telling you, it will be a natural phenomenon of observing one's own mind, one's own tendencies. What guna comes up, rajas, tamas, sattva, what guna arise in the mind? It will be a natural tendency to be a observer, to watch your own mind. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that an amazing experiment to do? Yes or no? I think it's amazing. I'm going to have a session with Sage if he says, what's going on? So how long has it been going on? I didn't have to just sit there. So what are you going to do during the day? She's really panic stricken. Is anybody else having this challenge? Like, oh my God, what am I going to do with myself?
I find freedom in that. I mean, because then I'm able to do more and be in the moment. That's what we talk about, responsibility, to be in the, be able to attend to what we need to.
It's what Deepika is sharing is I find freedom in that. Possibility to be more in the present moment, the responsibility to do what is needed.
Right.
Can I tell you something? Just an honest hand raise. When a certain conversation is taking place, either you are telling a story or someone else is, or someone asks you a question, or you feel you have to ask a question, isn't there a part of you watching that whole thing going, what is the point of this? How many say yes? Okay, so now I'm giving you freedom. We are now saying, let's put that aside, leave that rule out of the picture. Yes?
Yes.
Amongst ourselves. Maybe it won't be with anybody else, but at least amongst ourselves. I didn't qualify yet. I'm just saying maybe. You know, but what is very beautiful about your question and your sort of bewilderment about this exercise is you're taking it very sincerely. That is the most beautiful thing, you know. Don't say yes, And just like with half a dozen things in life that we say we will do, we do not do. I am saying we are sitting here in satsang as a group, one large group of people. I don't know how many there are, 75 or so here and whatever many here. We're sitting here to say, let's do this. Like when there's some project or something, don't people gather and do Om Namah Shivaya and do sadhana together? There's no more powerful sadhana than this. You are conserving life force consciously, and you're not asking for anything. Oh, Guruji, we're going to do 1,000 Om Namah Shivaya, and so people are going to take birth and pop into my class. No, that is not what we're doing, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no need here. Yes? You're coming from a place of centered choice. This was a lot of our discussion in chapter 2 also. Lean, choose the direction that takes you towards the internal journey, takes you towards the remembrance of who you really are, not run your senses, mouth, ears, all of that away, but towards the internal journey. Correct? We have to put these two chapters at some level into practice. You'll also realize how often and how much we speak to somehow avoid things. It's not genuine listening, genuine curiosity, but avoiding things. Maybe it's just discomfort of not knowing what to do. You know? Yes or no? If right now I wasn't sitting here, if Gurudev's sitting here silently, we immediately close our eyes and we rest, correct? We ride his wave of silence, do we not? But if me or somebody, we're just sitting here, you will notice soon fidgeting starts. Yes or no? Fidgeting will start. What's going on? Why isn't she saying, oh, because you're expecting it? You have your ideas, to your point, about some judgment, some ideas, and then we can. So, Didi, somebody will pipe up with some ridiculous thing. Somehow, through their awkwardness, they will rise to the occasion and say something. Have you seen this many, many times? It happens around Gurudev also. He's silently sitting, maybe it's in his office or, meeting room, or something, and then suddenly someone feels like they have to say, I love you, Guruji. Okay, maybe they got overpowered with bhakti. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's all autopilot, all of this.
Maybe, what would you, I mean, I don't know if this is relevant or irrelevant. You can tell me, but when you talk about, when you do regression, eternity process, it's all about looking in the past. Somehow, we all have that intrigue of, going there, knowing, because somehow the self feels a little restricted or something, and you're looking for freedom. Recently I did an astrology reading, and it was all about obviously the past, seeing what is the past. I felt freedom after that, because I could find some patterns in me which were really bothering me. And from that, I found a little freedom. What would you say about something like that?
No, but see, that is not for conversation's sake.
Correct.
It's not because, okay, let's just sit here and know what's happening. Who are you in your last birth? If I ask you that and you start saying, oh, I did my eternity process, I was so and so, that's discussing something for no purpose, no reason whatsoever. You went through the eternity process, some memories jarred up, and there was freedom. Done. But then we start going into it. Haven't you noticed how many Arjun exists in the world because of the eternity process? Do you know? There's so many. There's a lot of Arjun. If you ask them, I was Arjun. Oh, I don't want to say, but I was Arjun. Honestly, someone told me they were Parvati. You're not, I'm not kidding. And that they had Kartikeya in their lap and Lord Ganesha. And that somehow they also told me a story, Gurudev, and Gurudev presented them right after the eternity process with Parvati, Kartikeya, and Ganesha, the Kanjivaram paintings, with the gold. Kanjivaram, yeah, that painting. And so these were all the romantic signs of what I experience is actually so. And they went on and on and on with that story. I often do japa when I'm not interested in the story. They don't know, but that's my way of going with it. I'm doing japa, and then it slipped out of the mouth. And now you're this person? What happened? It came out of my mouth. What happened to you? So why now this? You must see the ridiculousness of our past and our story. It's equally ridiculous. Maybe they were Parvati. Maybe they were devotees of Parvati, and so that impression stays. I just to digress for a moment, but Gurudev did tell me it's very possible that devoted, you keep your focus is Guruji, 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 and then if tomorrow morning, if you consider tonight end of a life, tomorrow morning being a new life, what's in your awareness? Guruji. So then make one day into one lifetime. That can be there. And so then you see only Guruji everywhere and you will think you are Guruji. And there's nothing wrong in that because that energy, that vibration, that connection is there and that's what's coming through. But you have to see a bigger picture, isn't it? I was Parvati. We cannot be attached to the stories of the past, the events of the past. What has come and gone is no longer you or I. That is the point of this exercise. And you must see the ridiculousness of those stories as much as these examples that I'm sort of playing with, but making a very relevant point. There's 100 Arjuns I know. Nobody's just a little old lady, begging for food. Everybody's somebody important. If we keep doing that, our stories, they become very big. You see, it's not easy to let go, but if we consciously say, let's do this for one day or 1 week or 1 month or 3 days, whatever it might be, it will just bring more awareness, more alertness. And then maybe we will do it again for another 1 day. Who knows? How are you guys online? Anything? We're good? Okay. So anything else we should, yeah, Sylvia, go. Your hand is
Raj,
up.
not actually a question, but what I wanted to share since last session, that when I was in, of course, this is past, but I'm going to just share a little bit. I was in Canada last year, and I was there, and what?
I'm not listening.
Okay, so whatever.
Keep telling the story.
Okay, so we were telling about future and past, and he told us, you are all the time taking me to the past, to the future. We're missing this a lot in Art of Living. He told this in the stage. And they said, yes, so we should present moment again and again.
But see, actually, Sylvia, there's a huge point. Gurudev is saying something to us. Our question basket is filled with what? Just complain. If you have, it's a question about the past. Is it a question or a complaint? It's actually just a complaint. See, you went quiet because you have to now pause because it's done and over with. Even the guru cannot do anything about that. Right? But we need to have the freedom to be a victim. I don't want to get to that word because that's a little harder to swallow than a complaint, but the challenge here sometimes, out it goes. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Those questions are not really questions because he cannot do anything about it. It can just be a blessing request. That is possible. You know, I'm still holding on to what happened yesterday or 10 years ago. Please free me. But why did this happen? Why do they do that? What makes some people do this and others not? Why is it happening to me? This is what? It's not really a question, is it? No. It's a complaint. It's a way to hold on to something. Our system likes to hold on to events, stories. Somehow, in some small way, we feel more alive. We feel like there's a purpose, there's a meaning. It adds an insignificant sense of significance. Are you hearing me? Give me some yes or no. Some little nod. We will have to stop that. And here's the thing, what Sylvia is saying, we are missing so much because we are sitting in the great presence, right? And the moment we dwell into what if, why if, it shouldn't be, how can I, when can I, you ask questions about the knowledge, Lord Krishna will go on answering. But that is not what we're doing. You see, every question that Arjun asks is to build on the prior learnings. He's not just going on, no, but why is it that I have to fight them? Why don't you tell this to Duryodhan? Or why don't you, he's not doing any of that. Every question is doing what? Building clarity for himself so that he can get to where he has to go. That's not what we're doing. When we asking questions, when we are doing self-referral about our own past, it's somehow to say, make it better, change it, fix it, I don't like it. And in order for us to live with it, we need reason and purpose and meaning behind it. And there just isn't. This is chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. Do you remember? I mean, most of you I know have been here throughout, so I cannot recall all the faces, but at least the faces I see. Are you catching on to what I'm saying? It's Sankhya Yoga. We are beyond the events, beyond these ideas, beyond our stories. There is no purpose, there is no meaning. This is something that will always go on, has always been, and will always be. This is how it is. But we keep looking for meaning and purpose and reason, and we need to understand, oh, that happened because of that. Oh, and so now I understand, and so now I'm in acceptance. No, we are not. Cause and effect, we link it all up. We have gone not towards the self, but towards the senses, towards the world. Are you with me? So it's not just about stories and questions of others, but also letting go of your own stories and questions and why not. That's much harder. It's very, very difficult to do because we're obsessed with it. Yes? It's a good share, Sylvia. It's kind of sad in a way, if you think about it, for him to have to say, we're missing so much because we as an organization or devotees or whatever he was referring to, we're all here just discussing the past. We don't move. No? Yes.
Sometimes don't we learn from other stories, like when they share their stories, you learn something.
Yes. I'm not saying, remember, I keep saying it's get conscious. You're not even listening to the story to learn anything. It's not that. Okay, I want a guru story. Why do you want a guru story? Why do people ask for guru stories? What is the takeaway after a guru story? There is inspiration, but what else comes with it? Jealousy, comparison. Immediately comes, oh, you're so lucky, she's so lucky, oh, wow, amazing, fortunate. Yes? I have to go and take nazar for 20 minutes after. Isn't that what happens? Immediately the mind, it's not ill-intended, that is not what I mean. But we become in the small mind, that is the point that I'm making. We don't remain in the big mind and see it as, wow, that's great, and stay wide open. How, you're so fortunate. When will I have a chance? Me and mine, we're back to me and mine. If you could see me and my story as yours and you would stay in the big place. But I have become other 2 minutes later. Do you see? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This is a very, very important thing for me to become conscious about me. It doesn't mean never, ever, forever, and eternity, don't talk, don't do that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have a habit of doing it no matter what. So now let's see what we can do for a little while. Yes? First you, and then I come to you. Yeah.
So even if something happened in the past, if you're not retrospecting, how do we learn?
So what would you like to retrospect and for how long?
Why it is happening?
The question
how did
is,
it happen?
if we don't retrospect, how will we learn? That's the question. How long do you need to do that? And with whom do you need to do that? With yourself.
Self.
You look, and then what? Move on. Correct? But to go on dwelling in it, what is Lord Krishna talking about? The mind dwelling in something creates desire. Do you remember that verse from last time? When the mind dwells, when the senses dwell on something, if you keep thinking about the same thing, if you keep repeating the same story, oh, that's a nice phone. Where did that phone come from? I wonder what phone it is. Is it phone 12 or 15? Is it the iPhone? Is it the Galaxy? I wonder what it does. I'd like to learn what is happening as I'm, quote, thinking and doing due diligence on it. What is happening? It creates a desire. You remember, go back to those 2 verses. They're very, very big. I will have Mala read them. I'm pretty sure she has selected them. I checked, but when your senses dwell on the object of the senses, the mind is engaged in it. What happens? Desire comes. And when a desire comes, if it's fulfilled, what comes as a result? Another desire. What does it mean to have another desire? It's called greed, people. It's called greed. I want more comes. One fulfilled desire says what? I want more. I just want to get into Guruji's room. I just want just this one course. And then I want to be Jatin. Are you understanding what I'm saying? We want more. A fulfilled desire will lead to greed, and an unfulfilled desire will lead to frustration, anger. And then anger leads to? Come on. Delusion, confusion of memory and mind, loss of reason, and ruin. Are you with me? It's so important. More. Just go back to fulfilled. Am I saying don't have desires right now? Did I say that? No. All I said is senses, when they dwell on the object of their respective sense, it creates desire. That is all that I said. Correct? And then desire gets fulfilled. What happens? We're just saying what happens. What happens? I want more. Greed comes. But in the greed, grasping develops. I want more. So you hold on tight, and then you keep trying to grasp for more. What is happening? Raga. Raga is developing. Yes? It's very strong. It's not light. And we think it's different because the object of the desire, I want more, has changed. But actually, you're just digging a deeper hole in the same place, the Grand Canyon that we have been talking about. Yes? Do you understand? Are you hearing me? And so one hand holds on because it's not, I want more, let me let this go. Is it like that? No, it is not like that. I want more while I hold on to this. This takes you down the road to delusion because now me and mine become stronger. Attachment gets stronger. Whatever that me and mine could be, it's not just about things and our own, quote, people or family or friends. Is it just about that? No, it's about anything and everything. It's about our seva also. My seva, your seva, my role, your position. And more and more and more. And it's this tight grasping, this craving, which is one of the most, it's heat, it's fire. Sattva gun, this will come in later chapters, but the gunas, prakriti changes. Correct? And an unfulfilled desire, dvesh. I don't like it. It shouldn't be. And this is a vicious cycle. It goes back and forth. I want, I don't want, I want, I don't want. It goes back and forth, back and forth. My time is almost over. Lots of questions. Hold on. Question?
My mind has its own mind. By watching it, can I control it? What comes it?
My mind has its own mind. By watching it, can I control it? What is the question related to? Which part of what we've already discussed?
Being conscious.
Oh, hold on. What we've already discussed this. Which part is it talking, is the question relating to? Yeah, it's what? It's the yoga of intellect. It's part of the Sankhya Yoga discussion. Correct? Look, we have to purify the mind. Lord Krishna, from the very beginning, he starts with the highest. Okay, first he tries to cajole Arjun, like we get cajoled so often. No, don't worry, let it go, it's okay. And you get the knowledge, then you get a little stick, then you get a little more knowledge, correct? But Bhagavan starts with the highest with him. And when that does not work, then he moves him down the road of action and so on. Yes, that's what's happening. Our mind is running wild. There's something called, I don't know if it's real, but pattern interruption. Do you all do that? Do you know what I mean by that? Pattern interruption. You notice your mind doing something and then you interrupt it. Another part of your mind says, knock it off. Yes or no?
Yes.
That's called pattern interruption. Does it work? It stops something. Maybe the mind goes down another rail, right? But that other thing, it stops. The mind can observe itself. And you do have the potentiality to discern. That is the discerning part of the mind versus the auto part of the mind. Look, we have so much knowledge, we have never really stopped to think. We just lump mind, boom. Intellect, boom. Well, intellect is sadbuddhi and not so sadbuddhi. Correct? And it's there, it's a field. So it's all or nothing game. There are moments when there's discernment in the intellect, ability to quote, know right from wrong, less from more, better from worse, changing from non-changing. And in the next moment, you could be back in ignorance, because remember, we are not the person of Sthita Pragya. Our wisdom is not established. That is why Arjun asked in those last 10, 12 verses, the discussion by Lord Krishna is, what is that person like? You and I, we have knowledge, we have some wisdom, do we not? We know, we really clearly know, clearly experienced, I'm not this body, clear experience, look, I'm getting caught up, clear experience, I'm fighting. We have these experiences. And then we say it's not worth it. The guru, the grace, the higher self, whatever. It stays for some amount of time. And then what happens? We go back into ignorance again, isn't it? How do we establish in wisdom is a journey, is a process. And Lord Krishna in chapter 2 has given us what you can do. That's what we've been discussing these last 4 sessions, I think. So yes, the mind does have the ability, when that sattva, purity aspect of the mind, discerning aspect of the mind rises, it watches the other part of the mind and says, knock it off. And then you have to follow that. Discipline was another thing that Lord Krishna required. Correct? I know that Mala listens. I don't know where she went because she disappeared, but I know she's listening. Discipline. We have to hold ourselves back, rein in the horses. But we know people say, I just didn't know. Certain things you just don't know, but certain things you knew and you chose to ignore. Why? Because we allowed the small mind to win. We did not do what is best. Whether it's seva or not, we give in. And then seva becomes just another object of desire. It no longer purifies you. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, all of these other paths, meditation, breathing, all these things, seva, satsang, chanting, are there to keep the mind purified so that the knowledge can establish. So that the wisdom that we have, that we receive, can start to stabilize. That is what Lord Krishna calls stable of wisdom. What is this one like? Are you with me?
That process, it brings some frustration that, oh my God, it's still I cannot establish it. I'm not established in that state. So, is it, this is how that.
Yeah, but this is greed again, the process, it brings frustration. I'm not established. We do self-effort, but in the end, we just got to patiently twiddle our thumbs. Very patiently. It is a process of developing infinite amount of patience. The end journey in life is not enlightenment. Trust me, though I don't know, I know one little thing. It's infinite patience. This is the utterness of acceptance. Then all the grace is already there. We don't have to seek enlightenment. We are, but we have no patience. We are running towards and away for, and this is it. From the moment we start to feel separation, which is around the age of whatever, 2 years, we're trying to feel whole and complete by trying to fill it with this and that and that and that and that and that. And the frustration comes because we think we're in control of trying to fill it, and it's not coming. No, Draupadi didn't, this doesn't work. Do you understand? This doesn't work for sure. This doesn't work. It works. You have to let that go. Everything has to go. Not easy. but we don't care. You don't have to play the game. And you have to play the game fully. Most of us, whatever we're doing, whatever game we're playing, are basically chickens. Basically running around, lukewarm, tepid living.
Fear driven.
That's right. Fear, and it's fear is a basis of feeling separate. We are fear-driven. It's what somebody said, very fear-driven, in case you didn't hear online. But it's because we feel so separate that we have fear. You know, the biggest and the simplest thing is just learn to love. Just love, give, be natural, be family with people. I told you, with my sister, I will be forgiving of something. The same exact thing with my friend, I'm a little less forgiving, maybe. And with my colleague, even less forgiving of the same thing. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I'm stuck in me and mine. It is nothing to do with anything. When you feel belonging, love makes you strong and powerful and massive, limitless. Is it not so? I'm not even talking the higher love yet, okay? Just the basics of life. Oh, what's happened to you? You're bright and shining. I'm going to tell you. What happened? I met someone. Have you seen that? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. I met someone. It makes you fearless. Qualities of an enlightened, this is for some reason coming up again and again these last 3 days, right? This is like the third time. What is the big quality of an enlightened? Fearlessness. We read that somewhere. It's one of the verses in the 2nd chapter. Fearlessness. Because there's nothing but love. Connect. They don't see themselves as separate. So where is that fear is because you feel separate from things and people and situations and life and time, everything. Have you noticed you go to, okay, we'll go to Boon, Guru Purnima and stepping into silence and whatever, wherever, we'll go to Boon. On your way there, on the one hand, the mind is very happy and excited, yes? And then on the other hand, oh my God, I'm going to have to deal with all that crazy. Does it go on?
Yes.
Isn't it? I mean, you're going to go on stage and sing. Oh, Lord. Watching is a comic. You know, it's like the whole thing is insane. It's hilarious, isn't it?
Yes.
When sitting on this side, you're like, okay, why do you guys torture yourselves to sing? No, I want to sing. Just sit here and sing. On this side, you can equally sing. Can you not? Yes or no? But no, I got to sing over there. Okay. Good luck. We had satsang yesterday. Someone, sincere, I suppose, I want to sing. They couldn't sit, they couldn't stand. They used to be professional singer, I think, at one point. We could barely hear the person speaking. I want to sing. But if you sat there and followed the song she's singing, you're still singing. Correct?
They want to be nice, nice.
But no, that we don't think it's the same example as my sister, my friend, stranger, my colleague, my enemy. You will not tolerate that thing in your enemy even this much. So you're not bothered about the quality. It's not about singing. It's where you're sitting. That's even worse now that I said it. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand? Conscious, becoming more awake and alert and aware. Really aware what is making us feel so separate. That's a choice. It's a choice to have a sense, these are my people, it's my family, I'm going to be natural and I'm going to be available, and that's it. It's a choice we make. How free are you living is an indication of the value of the Guru in our life, or the value of the knowledge in our life, and an indication of how much we live that knowledge. If you're achieving things, accomplishing things, but you're not finding freedom and naturalness, and people are sort of coming to you just because, then there's some problem. And the Guru doesn't care. He will let you do whatever you want to do for whatever reasons you want to do it, because he has that infinite patience that we discussed earlier. There is no right and wrong, and there is no separate for him. Everything is in the center, the same for him. And so he will wait until you decide to flip the coin another way. It's a choice. So I'm 10 minutes past my time, but let's now take a commitment. I had actually several things lined up for us in terms of what we're going to practice, but let's just stick to this for now. All right? Between now and next Tuesday, it's just 1 week. Just 1 week. No discussing your stories, your past life. Yes? No thing that's going to relate to where do you come from, when did you, all that past related questions. Like you're going to walk around like, yes, I am Atman. Where were you? I have never been born. Where do you live? I am housed everywhere. I don't care. You believe that you are the self. And what would the self answer? What would the self ask? They would sit silently. Correct? 1 week. Can we do it for 1 week? That's all. Between now to following Tuesday. Okay?
Yes.
You will see, it will just add consciousness to it. You will drop your stories. This happened, that happened. I'm coming out of this. I'm recovering from that. Oh my God, enough. Just come out and be done. I'm coming out. How long? What does it take? Out and done. Yes? Alex, are we good with that? 1 week? Okay, everybody, raise your right hand. I, say your name. I, Rajshree Patel, do solemnly swear to know that I am self. I have no past. I have no future. I just am. And so I live as the self for 1 week. Even if it's just conceptually words. Are we clear?
Yes.
1 week. And then if you want on your own, you continue another week. Okay, we meet back. I'll send out an email to everybody. I'll have Pramod do it. But when is the next? August 6th is the Tuesday. We'll just continue. Huh? We'll continue still on Tuesdays. I think it's a good down day because sometimes Mondays there's classes and Thursdays classes start. We'll leave Wednesday for the middle of the week. Tuesdays, August 6th is when we will start back again. Okay. If you can, go back and, I don't know, listen to randomly pick one of the old videos and listen to it. Just randomly pick one. Maybe the title will remind you of what it is. Maybe that's what you can pick based on that. But listen to something. Stay connected. Prioritize your journey here. The world will never come to a stop. It's called movement. Shakti. Are you with me? The world will never stop. Activity is inherent in creation. It is called Shakti. It will keep going. It will never end. Something will always be needed to be done. Make this a priority. You are walking a very, very fortunate path. Human with a guru and interested in something more than just. So make the most of it. For 1 week, prioritize. And for 1 month, stay connected so that when we meet back August 6th, we're not starting with this sort of blank space. We've built a lot of, connection together around this, isn't it? So you'll do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that mean somehow we also need to separate ourselves from those desires?
So what, I don't remember where, but there is a discussion, maybe it's directly from Gurudev. The question is desire to, how did you put it?
Deepen the practice.
Desire to be deeper in the practice is also desire. That's basically what we're discussing. But, it's an elephant's footprint. The desire for the divine does what? Erases all other footprints, isn't it? It's an elephant's footprint. That desire purifies the nervous system. So you move in that direction. It's true. Desire for God is also desire. But that desire minimizes all the other desires. It's a footprint of an elephant on little birds and little creatures. It wipes all the other footprints out. No? You see, we get hypothetical in our questions. You're not really struggling with how do I get rid of the desire for God? Are you? I'm not. Do you understand? We mustn't hypothesize. This is the beauty of clarity. It's a relevant question, but it's not relevant in this moment to you. Are you really struggling with, Gurudev, Didi, I don't know what to do. I have this desire for God and I just don't know. How do I manage it? That's not really what's happening. We hypothesize. Why we hypothesize like that is because letting go of desires is scary. So we need the ego, the small mind. It's not just you. It needs a way to come back and grab its nose. It's so tricky. The mind is so tricky. And you need your own self-policing, and you need a buddy who will hold up a mirror. It's not easy to do that. People don't like that. Nobody wants to see clarity, we like a little bit of fog. It keeps our story going. It's much more, quote, easier in the short term to keep the story going. Mañana, I'll see what happens with the rest. We're not looking at long term. If we looked at long term, we would stop 90% of our nonsense immediately. Certain hypotheses, certain theoretical questions are just a way not to own, oh my God, what are you saying? I'm gonna let that and that and that go. No, I need this. I can't let that go. Correct? It's very tricky. The mind is very, very, very tricky because it's afraid. It's not being mean or anything. It's afraid. What will happen then if I let desires go, and then these people will eat me alive? I'm not that tasty. Go for it. You understand? We get caught up. Yes? That one you can have. Okay. Other? There was one other hand somewhere, but you had a question.
I didn't have a hand.
Uh.
So, going back to me and mine and attachment, starting to have maybe, a little bit here and there, some clarity, or I'm catching myself feeling that attachment. So without going into story mode, what's the next step from there? How do I, maybe this is going back to the conversation for having about getting a step.
No, the question is, how do I move from me and mine?
I'm starting to realize that, recognize that it's happening.
I'm starting to realize me and mine is happening. Good, keep realizing it. At one point, you're going to get tired. I'm telling you, you say, how long can I go on with this stuff? What did Lord Krishna do to Arjun in the beginning? What did he do from me and mine?
But he had the highest ability, right?
Yeah, but in between he did other things. Huh? He was poking the ego, okay, but look, if you get caught up in just this small thing, you can do so much more. You can have 10 wives. Why are you stuck with 2? Do you understand my point? You have to expand me and mine. No, he pokes his ego, he moves him from selfish purpose to ethical purpose, and from ethical purpose to a broader, greater goal for the community, greater good for humanity. And then that's not working, so he takes him to the highest. And when that doesn't work, he sees it's not working, so then he brings him to action. Okay, anyway, you have to do things, you have to act. You're a warrior, so do what a warrior is supposed to do, act. Selfless action, he moves him in that direction then. Correct? And like that, it will continue. So step by step, Bhagavad Gita it's really, as if you go verse by verse by verse, you see it's really step by step by step. Gurudev gives us so much in one sentence, like he puts it all out, that we don't break it down. He gives, just like Lord Krishna, very first thing in every course, I belong to you. Yes? There's nothing more. That's the entire Gita. It's finished. But we don't get it, so then you have 3 questions. What is it you really want in your life? What is it that's really bothering you in your life? And what are you expecting out of your life? Then we go there. Yes? See, it's such a, it's a web plan. It's not some small little, this minutiae little things. Step by step, step by step. Isn't it amazing how long we have been doing Bhagavad Gita for like 2 months, and to start recognizing me and mine, oh, I'm this, it's mine. I have other me. That's a huge thing, huge thing.
It's most interesting part is the moment we recognize this me and mine. I feel that once we feel that, okay, I understood this, I got it, we haven't expanded because that we have not experienced it,
No, so once we get me and mine and we have understood it, what step is missing? Vedanta has what methodology? Karma Yoga methodology is what? Action, selfless action. Bhakti Yoga methodology is what? You are my Lord. Correct? Offer everything. That is the methodology. Then Dhyana Yoga is what? Meditation. Discovering the self within. What is in Karma? Vedanta, what is it? Jnana Yoga, but what is the methodology? Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasa. Application. So listening happens. We listen to Gurudev's knowledge, correct? It can be called reading also, doesn't matter, or our satsang, but we listen. Yes? How much self-referral do we do? Oh, wow. I was treating this person as an other. Oh, I'm being possessive about my things, my job, my role, my position. Oh, I'm biased over here and not over there. How much self-reflection do we do in the moment, not just in the past, in the moment? Yes? And then let's assume we do that. How many of us do nididhyasa, application, which means next time around, even though I feel mentally other, and she's after my thing, my job, my role, my position, it's my place to say, my authority, even though I see it, I'm going to at least 1 out of 10 times say, you do it. 1 out of 10 times, you give up. This is application. You stop the vritti, you stop your consciousness, the divine energy running down a tamasic pattern. You have to fill that crack with awareness. Awareness is like cement in a crack. It smooths everything out. But we don't do that. We actually say, well, but she doesn't practice that, so give it back. Yes? We don't, everywhere, whether it's home or work or seva or satsang or teaching, it's really this nididhyasa, this thing of saying, I lose. Okay, I let go. We don't practice it. And I don't even suggest let's do it 10 out of 10 times, but 1 out of 10 times, consciously make a decision when it matters the most to me and mine. I'm going to say, you do it. Okay, we do it this way. Okay, you're correct. Okay, I let it go. I'll sit here. No problem. Try it. See, now you have to burn through it. Now all the senses and the mind have retrieved inward. And this soft feeling comes in the system. Don't you notice when you have been in some trouble, something soft? Because now also the ego is getting pricked because outside people are seeing something that they're getting a wrong information, wrong message, and you gotta pull back and you gotta feel that softness and that thing that's there. Yes or no? It's such a gift because you got kicked inside, and that's a gift. It takes a lot to get kicked inside in life. It's grace of all grace. And you got to watch it. You got to sit there and watch it. Don't go correcting it. Don't do anything with it. Sit with it, sit with it, sit with it, sit with it. Let it be. Because the only reason we have a guru is not so we save the world. Is it? If 1 billion people do the course through you tomorrow, you still will not have succeeded if all you've done is teach 1 billion people. Buddha came and went, didn't do anything amazing. Krishna came and went. We have the same problems. It's in fact gotten worse. Lots of have come and gone. Gurudev is not on a mission to fix the world to utopia. That is not it. It cannot be helped. That is it. A guru cannot but love. Finished. It cannot be helped. There is no mission in that sense. People say, oh, what is your mission? Have you seen on an interview when they ask him, Shri, I'm very curious. How far has your mission come? And how do you feel about your mission? And you watch his whole system goes like this. No, I'm here, they are mine, so I'm going from place to place. And it sounds like so trite for somebody who doesn't understand what he's saying. But it cannot be helped. I already said, the world is action. You cannot sit either in ignorance or in enlightenment. In enlightenment, you serve. In ignorance, you gather. It cannot be helped. Do you understand? So self-reflect, that's step 2. But then let go, that's step 3. And if you do it 1 out of 10 times, awareness becomes the cement in your vritti. Slowly, that tendency gets filled in. Fearlessness does come. So what? That beautiful mantra that Gurudev keeps giving us does throb in the system. Yeah, okay, whatever. Not an attitude. It's that it falls off of you. Are you with me? It's very important. What is the point of saying, I have a guru in my life, and the most incremental movement you made in your life is bleep? We should be the most powerful people, frontline people to be, what do we have to risk? Nothing. We have everything, but that is not the case. Everybody's a chicken holding on. There's 3 stale peanuts. They're so old and it's hurting from the tight fist. Are you following me?
Yes.
To say I have the highest knowledge, the highest and the best of tools, and a guide like the Guru means to be so courageous that you would have exploded into transformation. Not bleep. How are you feeling? I'm pretty good. Oh my God, I can't be so great. Stop mood making. Do you understand this? A real sign that that is the case is because you live with audacity. Understand the word in the context that I'm referring to. No, out of my way, people. I'm moving. That. How am I gonna? Gurudev says, okay, bring 5,000 people. How do we do that? Guruji, should we do? Are you kidding me? Do you ask questions like this to your boss when he says, do me a favor, I need to see 5,000 people numbers grow? Sir, how am I going to do that? You're fired. No? Get another job, don't come tomorrow morning. Clear. We must get clear with ourselves. We're not here to play another game with the nice white wrapping paper. No, that is not it. All right, eyes closed. Take a long breath in. Let it go. Right this moment. There's nothing, just you here. Nothing else. Everything else is a dream, a story. Someone else's story. Who was there yesterday does not exist here now. Who was there this morning does not exist here and now. Take a breath in. Let it go. Satyam param dhimahi. Satyam param dhimahi. Satyam param dhimahi. Jai Gurudev. I see you in a month, okay? Bye.